purpose and function of the Jacksonville Beach Special Magistrate hearing in accordance with Florida Statutes Chapter 162 and the City of Jacksonville Beach Code of Ordinances is to reach an equitable expedition to enforce the codes. The city presents the violation and evidence to the special magistrate. Next, the property owner is sworn in and responds to the violation and evidence. Both the city and the property owner may call witnesses to provide sworn testimony relevant to the case. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, not a public forum. Individuals not called as sworn witnesses will not be heard.
Good afternoon. My name is Wayne Flowers. I serve as Special Magistrate for the City of Jacksonville Beach. We will be commencing hearing on several items that are on the agenda today on the docket. When the case is called, I'll ask for the code enforcement officer to provide me with information regarding the violation. After she presents her information, if you are here on a particular case, you will be invited to come forward, be sworn, and provide any testimony that you may have on the matter. So with that, I guess, Ms. Beavers, let's go.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name and position.
Nikki Beavers, City of Jacksonville Beach, Code Enforcement Officer.
Thank you.
We're going to skip down on the agenda to letter E.
I was afraid of that.
Looks like they're the only ones that's present, so not to make them sit through everything else. This was in regards to the outside display and sale of merchandise under section 34, 342B. There is a correction that needs to be made on the PowerPoint. It was showing the old violations, but the correct one is on the agenda.
Let me ask this. Well, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll ask a question after you.
Okay. I do want to say that the property has come into compliance. I've visited the property since our last hearing, and each time that I've been in the area, there was no merchandise observed outside.
So would the recommendation be to close the matter?
Yes.
Okay. I suspect that the property owners might want to have a few comments and.
Yeah. I mean, we're willing to.
Okay. One second here. Okay, it's Mr. McMaw and Mr. Witten? Yeah. Is that right? Okay. I'll give you 1 second before you start. You come up. That's. Okay, would you raise your right hands and
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Each state your name and address, please.
Chris McMaw, 1121 3rd Street North, Jacksonville Beach, Florida.
Todd Whitten, 1121 3rd Street North, Jacksonville Beach.
give me 1 second. And then your last name is McMaw, N-C-M-A-U-G-H?
Yes.
Okay.
M as in Michael.
Okay, I suspect, let me start out by saying, I really don't have anything to rule on at this point because the code enforcement officers advised me that the property is in compliance because the violation concerned display of your wares outside the building for purposes of sale, and that's not occurring from what I understand. And I know from the last hearing, your question is, well, okay, we voluntarily did that, but we still have questions about why we can't do it.
Well, yes, you specifically asked me to send letters to Chief of Police and the city manager. I hand-delivered both. and have received no response, shockingly enough. And so that, in accordance with all the other things that we talked about previously, in terms of allowing a small business to succeed in the city, not just be a large conglomerate, such as Whole Foods or Home Depot, is all the things that we are asking. It's not for sale of public goods like a fruit stand. It's a handful of like discreetly placed pieces on our own private property, not, you know, banners and signs and balloons, all of which are all over the city. But I'm a small business. I want those small businesses to succeed. What I want to be is on the same par as the Home Depots, the Whole Foods, the Trader Joe's, all those places that are allowed to do these things without any without any scruples. So,
Well, I cannot give you legal advice, but I can tell you something about processes perhaps that you might want to consider to avoid being in a position where if you put stuff back out, you get another code enforcement violation and start this process all over again. The position that's taken by the city is that the outside display of merchandise is not permitted in any zoning category. Or not, I shouldn't say that. The position is it's not permitted in the C1 zoning category, which I understand is the category you're in. Not permitted either as a matter of right or by exception. So under that interpretation, you just can't do it. I mean, there are provisions for seasonal sales with the ability to do certain activities in certain seasonal occasions to sell seasonal merchandise. I don't know that that covers what you would like to ideally do, and I'm not asking you to tell me that it does or it doesn't, but I think in Ms. Beaver's, the city's position is those are the only circumstances under which merchandise for sale can be displayed outside the building.
Correct. So as he mentioned, places like Home Depot and Whole Foods, they have a PUD. So they're a little bit different compared to the zoning district that they are located in. As been stated before, if they want to do a special event, they can apply for a tent permit. If they, want to put their merchandise and have a special sale, they can do that 6 times out of the year.
So where I'm going with that is, again, I only judge what's before me. And the city is correct that there is no specific allowance under the C1 zoning category for outside display of merchandise. It's not a use that is described. And again, the city's position is, and it's generally the case, that if the zoning category doesn't specifically authorize a certain use, then and or by right or by exception, then you can't do it. If you want to do that, you have to have either rezoned to another category that allows it, or simply not do it. So, my suggestion, the only suggestion that I can give to you is number one, the Director of Planning and Zoning is by ordinance the individual in the city who is authorized to interpret the zoning code. If you feel like that the Planning and Zoning Director or the Planning and Zoning Department is not correctly interpreting it, then you can ask for a formal determination from that person. And I believe it is a she.
Yes, Heather Ireland.
Right.
I've tried speaking with multiple times and could not get a hold of.
Again, I can't.
I mean, we're following all the letters of the law, all the letters of the rule, even what you asked me to do.
Right.
Write the letter, hand deliver it, to make sure it wasn't lost in translation.
Right.
And we're now standing here today, and not one person from the city of Jacksonville Beach has contacted us.
Yeah.
Not one.
So ultimately, the only other thing I could advise you is talk to your city council person or come talk to the city council, because they are the ones who write the zoning code. I mean, they adopt the ordinances that establish the zoning code.
Can I just ask a question?
Yes, sir.
I understand the code, and if that's the code, and we're obliged to abide by it, that's fine. But how can you pick us to do it when the bicycle shops and all of them still put out all their product every day. It's like discrimination if you're making me take it in, but you're not making them take it in.
Right, and believe me, I understand that, and I'm
That's
sympathetic.
my only
to that.
question.
And they all have been notified as well, so they'll be standing here with you in the same position if they do not come into compliance. The tire shops, the bike shops have all been notified.
To the extent that the position is, you know, as it is, then you got a lot of folks out there that you need to be addressing.
I mean, I drove by on our previous meeting, 15 minutes, 20 minutes before, printed out a bunch of photos. I still have them. I did that again today. Not one place, in fact, have more stuff out. Not one has changed anything in 30 days.
Ask them, did they get a letter?
Well, within 30 days, I mean, there should have been some amount of change, even from Dollar General and all the places in large corporations. I mean, not one. If anything, there are more places that have stuff out, and it's like we're just being persecuted, which is what I said in the first go round, and that's when you said, write this letter and they'll get back to you, because that's the letter of the law that's posted up there, is that these two people have the ultimate say, but they can't get back to me.
So,
Not even to a simple response or a phone call or
We
anything.
were just asking how to get that exemption, and nobody will even say.
so with this one, again, this one was wrongly cited, and this one pertains to items that were on the street, alley, sidewalk. So that's when,
Yes.
correct, so then that's when you got the new notice.
I have not received another new notice.
The last one that you guys received has this, the 34,342, I have a copy of it right here, with the new violation code.
And she's correct, that
Yes.
under this one, this would only apply to stuff that is not on your property, it would be on a public right of way. Again, my
Where did you
suggestion is.
I have no, like, that's what I'm saying, like, the city doesn't know whether they're coming or going. I don't have a single bit of paperwork from them regarding, and the fact I even called the zoning and said, read me where this is. I looked on the public record for this code, and she said, oh no, they're citing, I don't know, fire retirement. And I said, right. So we're citing the wrong thing. And she said, yeah, that's, you know, it happens. I'm like, how is that possible that just happens in city government? And like I said, I have every piece of paperwork, every stitch of paperwork in this file, and there is not one thing that
So
tells me.
your notice of hearing for today, what did it state?
Let me see here.
But that's why I just didn't know until everybody comes into compliance, how can you make us not do it? It's
Well,
not,
I don't have the authority or power to order people to comply or to order the
you know, it's just
the,
sad that it's like
So-
discriminating against a small business. You don't know if you realize how hard it is for a small business to make it these days.
I
And there's getting
understand.
fewer and fewer and fewer, and then the one thing that we could do is put 2 or 3 things out that might catch somebody's eye to get them to stop.
So,
That's not trashing up your neighborhood.
right.
I mean, you got issues down the street, if you wanna look at the hillbilly place down there, that's hideous
The
looking.
Third
Can
Street
I-
Diners is an eyesore. I mean,
So can I explain something? So another small business was cited during COVID.
mhm.
That person contacted me that's down the street from you and said, well, you told me I couldn't do this, so why are they? So that's how the complaint came towards your business, because we're complaint driven. So when that complaint came in, that's how your case started. It's not like I just picked you out of
Well,
thin
that's a
air.
city
So,
ordinance.
okay,
You're not gonna enforce it unless somebody,
again, each business are in different, some of them have PUDs. I didn't go
How
through
do you
every
do that?
single, but until cases come up and I do my research for each individual, like Home Depot, no, I can't cite them, because after I did research and talked with my planning department, I was told they can do it because they're in a PUD. All the other places, all down 3rd Street and 1st Street, have all received notices, because you're correct. It's not fair for one person, but I got a complaint for your property.
From
So,
another business that was cited, but
so I didn't
I'm not,
pick on you.
I'm not in the business of cracking down small businesses. That's I hate to say it, that's not my job.
Well, it's
My
not
job is to
possible.
be successful as a small business, and Jacksonville Beach is hampering that at every possible turn when they're willing to just give a PUD, which nobody can tell me how you would even come across that with
That's
all
what the
the.
planning department, yeah, or-
I wish somebody would call me back or email me about it, because I've responded
Yes.
plenty of times. You specifically asked me to do so. That was the one thing, and we're standing here today with not one stitch of comment back from either of those people who are supposedly in charge of it, and we're being told we're not allowed to do it, but nobody's responded back other than her who happened to be standing here.
Well,
Like,
again,
we are doing what we are supposed to do. The city is not doing what they are supposed
You
to do.
asked us not to put anything else until today, and so we complied with that.
again, I don't have the authority to tell the planning department or code enforcement to do one thing or the other. I have to decide cases that come before me. At this point, there isn't a case because you're in compliance. Again, I think the best advice I can give you is to talk with your city council person. And all of the things that you just described, the inequity, are things that they can take into consideration if they think there needs to be revisions to the zoning code to distinguish between businesses like yours versus some of the other
A
ones.
multi-million-dollar corporation that moved into the city.
Yeah, well, again, there are provisions, I do know that there's a PUD for where Home Depot is. Why the city makes that distinction, I don't know. But again, the city council writes the rules, so my, again, suggestion to you is that you talk to the city council.
So in terms of writing the letters that you asked us, was no response, no help, no.
That doesn't solve it. Again, my only reason for continuing it for that purpose was if there was some possibility that the city would say, hey, we thought about this, we're gonna allow it under this ordinance.
That's what we were hoping.
Then that would resolve
Nobody's
it, but that's not occurred, and apparently they're not. And again, they have revised the code provision that they are proceeding under this time around, which, makes a difference as well. But again, it's irrelevant today because there's no violation, you're in compliance, so.
Crazy. I mean, you gotta see where we're standing.
I do.
I mean, we're standing in front of you going, this is not us.
Yeah.
And you're saying, well, I mean, I understand, but you're saying, well, the fact that nobody responded, nobody cares, we're in compliance now, that's all that it is. So, and it's
And we still don't know how to.
it's complaint based, it's
I don't
complaint
have a
based.
case to dismiss against you because you're in compliance, so.
And it's complaint based, so if we don't get another complaint, then we're off the table.
I
I
can't answer that.
I mean, that's what it sounds like, so.
Okay, so,
Well, again, I strongly suggest that you talk to your city council person.
do you know, could you tell us who you need to talk to?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
Do you know?
who represents your district, whether they're all elected at large or.
Can you let us know?
When you go down back to our counter, they can let you know when the next city council meeting will be held, and you're more than welcome to attend that meeting.
No, can we find out who we would need to talk to, not just go to a meeting?
I'm not,
Who are our persons?
right,
They can
that,
tell you that.
yeah.
I mean, I tell you that I don't know. So,
Okay.
So the case will be closed.
good luck,
Yeah.
and I mean that sincerely.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
I would advise stopping by the city clerk's office, they'll be able to advise you which city council member would be in your district.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along, going back to case A. This is case number 2389, Teenage Homes LLC, 903 South 4th Avenue. This is in regards to a building permit not being obtained for the work. As of right now, there is a resubmittal of their permit application that needs that is required, for them to move forward.
That a resubmittal is required, or a resubmittal has occurred and hasn't been,
A resubmittal is required because the first one they submitted was insufficient and it was disapproved.
one second.
Mhm.
Okay, so when we were here last, they had not even submitted a permit application at that point.
Correct.
Back in September, so they submitted, but it was inadequate or incomplete,
Yes.
so they have to resubmit, so what is your recommendation?
Well, they did submit and it was disapproved, so they need to resubmit. I guess it's some new plans, that need to be submitted with it. So my recommendation would be to submit a sufficient application.
And what kind of deadline you want?
We can do 60 days.
We want to do it to a date certain, whatever the,
January 24th.
we can make it 60 days.
Okay. Is that, let me see the next date. We can put an exact date on that.
Then that would be, I don't have a calendar here.
Let's see, so December, January, so it would be February 28th.
Is that 90?
Is that 90? Or did you?
29?
Yeah, because we're on it at an odd time here this time
Yeah.
around.
So our next hearing is January 24th.
Okay, well, I leave it to you if you think that's sufficient time.
Okay, yeah, January 24th.
Okay?
Thank you. All right, moving to our next one. This is case number 2346. Property owner Joseph Benza at 1023 North 14th Avenue. For this one, a permit was issued September 22nd. My recommendation is to obtain a certificate of completion by March 20th, 2024. That's when the permit will expire,
What was that date, March?
March 20th.
Okay, I'll enter an order to that effect.
Okay. Our next one is ACA Investments. This is case number 2394 at 412 North 7th Street. This was in reference to the container in, I think in your last order, it was for him to.
This is the container that won't go away.
Yeah. I think he was supposed to be getting some engineering, I'm not sure, I don't see what your order.
The last order said he was supposed to receive the engineering drawings on November 1st, 2023, or he had received them, and maybe expected to receive. And that the city should be able to determine whether the container would meet the engineering requirements. Do you know whether those have been submitted?
So, what I'm reading is, it was ordered that no later than January 24th.
That's right, okay.
Okay, so we'll be back for this one, January 24th. I may have put it on the agenda,
Yeah, I wanted an order since it's already got
January 20th, okay. So January 24th for that one. Okay. Moving to our next one, Kevin and Maureen O'Malley. This was at 712 Binary Circle, case number 18157, in regards to no building permit being obtained. I did give you the pictures
They were,
of the work that they
waiting
did.
a minute to get the certificate of completion, I think.
Yes, so they also need to submit a new survey showing that they're now at 52.1% lot coverage. I think there was a misunderstanding with them. They thought once they did the work, they were done. But as me and Christian in the planning department explained to them that we now need proof showing that you still meet, that you've come into compliance with the lot coverage that was originally there.
Okay, what date do you want to put on for complete that?
We can put that for the January 24th.
Okay.
All right.
What's that effect?
And that concludes all the cases for today.
So do I assume